Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we will go through my SimRig roof build, including inspiration, planning, method and results, with plenty of failures and pitfalls along the way. This will be purely about roof structure, with possibly more videos to come involving lighting, accessories and other build projects. This is something anyone can build to improve immersion and give your rig a cleaner look. So here's why I wanted a roof in the first place. My setup has been great, but it always felt open at the top. When you've got triple screens in front of you and a full cockpit around you, having an open ceiling kind of breaks the illusion. I also wanted a place to mount accessories later, things like lighting, maybe overhead speakers, and even cable routing to tidy things up. A roof gives you structure, immersion and flexibility, and honestly I just think it looks awesome. So step one was designing something that's solid, clean and not too heavy, but of course something that you're also connected to. For me it's the Porsche 911 Martini racing livery, but how do I get what I want? Before I touched any tools, I spent some time planning. With my inspiration in mind and searching online for similar projects, I didn't want just a flat roof. I wanted some side angled panels. I measured the width of my rig, the height and the overall footprint of the roof. Making a cardboard template made a huge difference and let me visualize and feel exactly how the roof would sit and feel on the rig. Once this was done, I had to work out exact materials to be used, but also mounting options, especially with the angled side panels. So you can see from the pictures that I had tried to use a couple of different mounting options. The soundbar mount was very good to be able to adjust to the rig and angle of the roof, but I found it was not strong enough to be able to support any roof that had even the slightest of weight. So I had to decide, did I want a thin roof, which meant low weight but easier to mount, or a more substantial roof with some decent thickness but of course extra weight? I had come this far, so I went with a 12mm MDF sheeting. It was inexpensive, readily available to the size I needed, but it was relatively heavy. So I needed to think about a better mounting system. I ended up using aluminium profile with adjustable angle bracket from Track Racer. Not cheap, but very functional. The next issue was to think about how I would mount the angled sides of the roof. More on that later. So you can see, after cutting the main part of the roof to size, I've mounted the flat part of the roof to the aluminium profile with simple 90-degree brackets. This was quite sturdy and the profile definitely supported the roof. I then used the soundbar brackets to help me get the correct angle of the side parts of the roof. Once I established the correct angles, I decided I needed to fix the side panels to the main roof body as they were just too mobile and flimsy. I fixed the side panels to the main body using adjustable brackets. This worked really well, making the roof a sturdy and fixed unit with side angled panels which were symmetrical. So once the roof was put together, I tested it on the rig, leaving the soundbar mounts in place to make sure the angled side panels were still in the correct position. I then proceeded to sand and route the edges to get a smooth and professional finish. I painted the whole roof with primer and lightly sanded the surface again. At this point I was testing some off-cut MDF to see which was the best way to replicate the famous Martini stripes. I thought by using spray paint it would be a cheaper and easier exercise. I was wrong. I found with careful measurement I could get the stripes, but the painter's tape would often smudge and also remove the gloss layer from the paint. After weeks of trial and error, I gave up on the paint and decided to try and replicate the stripes with vinyl. So to get the correct proportions as far as the width measurements of the stripes go, it was all trial and error and really was up to what I thought looked good. You will see on my trial paint attempts it turned out okay but not great, as there was smudging and imperfections. I was after that perfect finish. So after working out my stripe width proportions, I cut my vinyl to size plus an extra few millimeters. I did this so I could then cut the vinyl to the exact measurement once it was in place using a blade. I found using 1 meter metal rulers and clamps helped me keep consistent straight lines and measurement. I did the red stripe first and worked my way out from there with a sequence of coloured stripes as per the plan. I found using a hairdryer and vinyl application tool very helpful to get the result I was after. I used carbon fibre vinyl to cover the rest of the roof. As you can see from the pictures, the vinyl gave me a far more consistent result with sharp edges and glossy finish. It was well worth the effort. So the next step was to consider the underside of the roof, the part that nobody else gets to see, but the part that makes you feel like you're in an actual car. I got some car headliner from eBay and some automotive headliner adhesive. I made sure to tape up any vinyl edges and proceeded to apply the adhesive. The headliner was cut to size and then placed using a vinyl tool to make sure I squeezed out any air bubbles. I found some blue stitch edging which I applied around the perimeter to finish off the edge between the vinyl and headliner. So here is the final result. I was very happy with it despite some hiccups along the way, in particular the spray painting. You can see I have some light gaps in the cockpit, but this was planned as I intend to make a roll cage and introduce some Philips Hue lights. You will notice I have a fourth screen, and one may ask, why do that with a roof? Well, I like having a pit wall despite not seeing it while I'm driving, but it is definitely useful while watching replays or when friends are over. I suppose this video was not so much a how-to, like I won't show you how to measure, use a jigsaw, router or place vinyl. There are plenty of videos for that. This was more about thinking and inspiring someone to go and make a roof build that caters to an individual's needs, because each sim rig is different to the next. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I've inspired one or two of you to give it a go. If there are any questions or particular information you need, please put it in the comments below and I'll be sure to get onto it. Also, I am always open to any suggestions or ideas you may have, because we can always improve and make things better.